unruly nation. Hear me now, we no run, we relocate. British think them catch we? Nah, man. Go on, unruly nation. Nanny of the Maroons, yeah? Your national heroine. Out in the Blue Mountain. British think them can run up? The British, they think they can own us, control our land. But this is Maroon country.
So in the lush, defiant heart of Jamaica's Blue Mountains, where freedom echoes through the trees and history bleeds into the soil, lived a queen so fearless, so cunning, and so powerful. Yet her name is barely whispered in the global narrative. This is not a fairy tale, dear people. This is the untold story of Jamaica's most powerful Maroon queen, a woman who outwitted colonial masters, commanded warriors, and led her people through one of the most extraordinary freedom struggles in world history. Her name is often overshadowed by male warriors and buried beneath British archives. But today her legacy rises. Get ready, you're about to uncover a hidden legend that will shake everything you thought you knew about the Jamaica's past.
Queen Nanny was a Maroon leader in Jamaica who used obeah to protect her people and outsmart the British. Legends do say she could catch bullets with her hands, disappear into thin air, call on the spirits, heal the wounded warriors, and also predict enemy movement. So the British, despite the weapons and firepower they had, they could never truly defeat her. So today, Queen Nanny is actually honored as a Jamaican national hero, and her legacy is truly a testament as to how ancestral wisdom and spiritual resistance is everything.
Queen Nanny of the Maroons. She was an Ashanti woman who fought and freed over 1,000 enslaved Africans in Jamaica. This is her story. Queen Nanny of the Maroons was a fierce leader and military strategist who played a crucial role in the resistance against British colonial rule in Jamaica. Born in the late 1600s, she was an Ashanti woman from present-day Ghana who was brought to Jamaica as part of the transatlantic slave trade. Rather than remain enslaved, Nanny escaped and became the leader of the Windward Maroons, a community of formerly enslaved Africans who settled in the mountains and waged guerrilla warfare against the British.
And she used African spirituality to confuse and defeat the British. Even today, Nanny is a mystery. She reveals her secrets only to those whom she chooses. There is a lot of magic and mystery in the Blue Mountains and Nanny. She had a pot that boiled, but there was no fire under the pot. She was a herbalist. She was a healer. She was a military strategist. She was from royal family in Ghana. She never went into battle herself, but she planned them.
As you can see, she's on our $500 Jamaican bill. So who was Queen Nanny? Queen Nanny is a name that she goes by. She also goes by Granny Nanny. She was a leader of the Maroons. So the Maroons they were a group of enslaved Africans, and they were prolific in fighting against British colonial rule during the 1700s. Moortown or Nanny Town is one of the establishments that Queen Nanny was associated with. This is where the Maroons fought against the British up on the mountains. And here I just want to read a little excerpt. Nanny of the Maroons was the first and foremost leader of the Windward Maroons of Jamaica, an autonomous community of self-emancipated formerly enslaved people in eastern Jamaica. Her historicity and legendary status blended into one another, but she was most likely born into an Akan community in present-day Ghana around 1680. Dispossessed of her homeland sometime around the turn of the 18th century, she survived the Middle Passage across the Atlantic. And the legend that distinguishes Maroons from Jamaicans, Nanny and her sister Sekusu arrived in Jamaica. Nanny escaped into the mountains and established a lineage of Maroons, and Sekusu, her sister, remained in slavery. Queen Nanny is an icon of resistance and the deep history of slavery in Jamaica. And I also found that she's a very interesting historical figure because she is a woman that is leading a slave revolt, essentially. Don't really hear too much about that. So, yeah. Go women.
Long before Jamaica became a symbol of sun, rhythm, and rebellion, it was a battlefield one where the British Empire clashed with the spirit of the island's original freedom fighters, the Maroons. And among these warriors emerged a woman, Queen Nanny of the Maroons, who didn't just fight battles, she led a revolution. So she was born into royalty among the Ashanti people in West Africa, and Nanny was no stranger to leadership. But after being captured and enslaved, she was brought to Jamaica, a land that would become her new kingdom, not as a servant but as a sovereign. And so in the early 1970s, she escaped into the rugged interior and became the spiritual and military backbone of the Windward Maroons in the Blue Mountains. From her mountain stronghold, she orchestrated guerrilla attacks so precise that British forces were left bewildered, defeated, and even terrified. And Nanny's warriors would vanish into the trees like ghosts, strike silently, and even disappear without a trace. But Nanny wasn't just a strategist, she was revered as a mystic. Oral histories speak of her catching bullets with her bare hands or using supernatural foresight to avoid ambushes. She infused her people with confidence, pride, and the will to resist slavery at all costs. Her leadership forced the British to the negotiation table, resulting in the historic 1739 treaty. Though controversial, it marked a rare instance where an enslaved African force negotiated terms with the European Empire. But here's where the mystery deepens. The British deliberately erased much of her history, reduced her legend to a mere whisper in colonial documents. Even today, many Jamaicans know her name but not her depth. So Queen Nanny wasn't just a war hero, she was a cultural protector. Under her reign, the Maroons preserved their African customs, languages, and governance systems, many of which still survive today. She created schools, food systems, and religious rituals that unified her people. Nanny became a symbol not only of resistance but of rebirth, and in 1975, Jamaica finally declared her national hero, placing her face on the $500 bill. But can a banknote ever truly reflect her revolutionary spirit? Her legacy runs deeper than currency. This is not just a Jamaican story, it's a global Black story. It's a story of a woman who refused to be erased, a queen who stood at the crossroads of Africa and the Caribbean, and who declared with her life, "We are not property, we are power." So the next time you hear about freedom fighters, remember, before Harriet Tubman, before the Haitian Revolution, there was Queen Nanny, and her spirit still lives in every fight for freedom, every single song of rebellion, and every Jamaican heartbeat.